Hey, thanks for joining us in this new video on our new channel. Consistent with our new theme, we're going to begin a new city in City Skylines. This could be considered what City Skylines players call vanilla since mods have not been installed yet. To begin, we will go to Grand River, which looks like it has suitable area for building as 84%. Before we begin, we're going to rename our city Frontier. Alright, here we go. So while we wait, I want to thank you once again for being here and thank you for joining me as we start on this journey on our new channel together. I enjoy playing city builders because they are open-ended and creative. As we start our new channel, the goal of our Frontier city will be to build up our population and also to generate income. Once we have an established city, it will likely be the base of more creative options in the future. As we get started, we can see the highway connection. The highway connection is the start of the City Skyline city. We will build roads off of the highway to allow people to move in and out of the city. We will also make a crossroad as the first main road of our city. Now we've got an area to come off the main highway and we have a demand for residential zones. We'll start zoning residential zones right off the roads that we initially constructed. We'll set the timer back to the slowest setting to allow people to develop and move into the residential zones. Across from the residential zones, we'll start our commercial zones. The commercial zones will be a buffer for the industrial zones. Now we'll add some industrial zones. Now as we can see, the demand is for residential and not for commercial or industrial. We're still setting up these additional zones because they'll provide work areas for our new residents. We will continue to lengthen the road and add even more residential zones. As we look back at our residential zones, we can see development and construction starting to happen. Now we can see the first residential buildings are complete and the population is starting to grow. Although it's a little plain, I am starting the layout of this vanilla city as a grid. Our citizens are demanding electricity and water. Since we have a small population, we'll add a water tower. Next, we'll lay down pipes to distribute water across our city. All zones and our water tower need electricity. Let's start with a wind turbine. Next, we'll add a few power lines. We've got a demand to remove wastewater. We'll start with this eco water outlet. The triangles on the river indicate the direction of the flow of the water. We will now install the eco water outlet near the city limit and at the end of the flow. We'll connect water pipes from our water outlet to the pipes in the city. The water outlet itself needs to be powered with electricity. We'll construct electrical lines from the water outlet to the city. At this point, we're going to continue to add more roads and zone for more residential. While we are zoning one side of the city residential, we will continue to zone the other side for commercial and industrial. While we continue to do this, there's a little bit more zoning for residential since the demand is higher. We'll also take a little bit of time to detail the area that transitions between the commercial and industrial zones. As we can see, our population is over 250. At this point, we're extending the road on the residential side. We're going to zone for residential along the road. At this point, we can see there's a larger area for residential than commercial or industrial. Now we've reached our first achievement with a population of 360. This milestone is called Little Hamlet. With this milestone, we're starting to unlock features, services, and buildings for our city. We're also generating a little bit of income. Our first building that we will purchase will be an elementary school. The school will be located in the center of the residential area. Next, let's construct a medical clinic. The clinic will be placed more in the center of town. This will be just off one of the main roads connected to the highway. Next, we'll add more commercial closer to the middle of the residential. Instead of being just a buffer for the industrial zone, this would be considered more like a business or commercial area. This may be a little bit too early in the development to label this area downtown. Now we'll go back and add on to our infrastructure with power lines and pipes. An additional wind turbine is added for increased electrical capacity. We'll also add more pipe to offer better access to water. We'll do a quick check of our economy and budget. An additional wind turbine is added for increased electrical capacity. Now we'll go back and add on to our infrastructure with power lines and pipes. Since we've been focused so much on the residential side of the city, we will again start to develop the industrial side. We are now at our second milestone with a population that passed 750. This milestone is called Worthy Village. The milestone looks like it's continuing to open up even more items in the game. Our city is off to a good start. We're generating income and our population has been growing. We're going to conclude our first video here and hope that you will join us as the city grows. Subscribe now to show your support. Also view additional video content on our other channels, which will be linked in the channel section.